DaVinci Resolve recently added the new depth map feature with the release of version 18. This feature easily allows you to mask subjects using AI-detected depth data. Having spent some time with this tool, I'm here today to quickly take you through the basics of how this works. When we're finished, you'll be able to do stuff just like this. Okay, so jumping in, to add the depth map to a clip within DaVinci Resolve, you need to jump to the color tab and then head to the Resolve FX Refine section of the FX library. And from there, you'll see depth map. Just drag that on to a new node in the node tree. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be putting this in the faster performance mode just because it'll help with, real-time demonstration. So once you've dropped the depth map onto your timeline, you'll easily be able to see that you get the depth map preview. Here you'll notice that your background or your out of focus part is in black, and your in focus part is in white with gradation in between. So in order to set these levels to our liking, we can do some customization using the sliders. In the resulting map adjustment area, you can check adjust map levels, and then you can adjust how far and how close the limits are on your scene. Within there, you can then use the gamma function to adjust the roll off between the two, kind of how harsh that blend is between the two areas. Now, to select a specific depth from this scene, all you have to do is go to the isolate specific depth section, check isolation to enable this feature, and then you can use the target depth to isolate your subject within the scene based on where they are in the focal plane. You can then use the tolerance slider to customize the bracket around, so how much either side of that focus plane you want in your shot. And then you can use the softness to control the roll-off curve of that, whether you want a really harsh cutoff or you want a nice soft cutoff, which will vary depending on application. We'll get into that later. And then in order to finally adjust things, like if you've got issues with hair and stuff, you want to turn on the post-processing. Your post filter will do all of that for you. You can change how much blur there is between the lines, but then you can also expand and contract your mask, so make it further away or closer to the detected subject in your scene. Okay, so now we've refined our mask, we can actually add a new serial node after that. We can connect the alpha out of the node with depth mask on it, and we can start adding effects to the output with the mask. So what can you do with this depth mask? Why is that so hard for me to say? So what can you do with this depth mask? The main things I can see this being used for are for further blurring the background, adding additional bokeh to the background with something like the lens blur function in DaVinci Resolve. You could also use it for split color grading. So if you want to tweak the levels of brightness on the background versus the subject, or you only want to apply the warmer highlights on the foreground object and not the background object, let's say, that's perfectly applicable in a situation like this. Okay, so depth map is an incredibly powerful tool, an amazing feature to be added into software that ultimately has a free version to it. This is absolutely incredible. Like I think DaVinci Resolve is amazing. This depth map function that can read focus data using AI sensing, all that AI computational side of photography now is really interesting to me, and I love how they've implemented it with this depth map. If you did like this video, don't forget to like it, comment, get subscribed. Plenty more DaVinci Resolve tutorials coming, but until the next one, see ya.